Our office at that time was down where accounting is now. So you couldn't hear what was going on out in the hallway too well. And I heard some fire trucks, and so I thought, wonder where they're going. So I finally went out into the hallway to look, and it was just full of smoke. And so there was, I don't know if it was a campus officer or a city police officer said, oh, the building's on fire, you have to get out of the building. Well, there were some other people back in that office with me at the time, and I said, well, there's some others in there, we have to get them out. And I remembered that I was right outside that west, what I call the west door of the ad building, and they walked us clear to the east entrance to exit the building in the smoke, and I wondered, well, why didn't we just go out the west door, because it's right there. And I thought at that time probably it would burn clear to the ground. Even though it hadn't really got flaming high then, I mean, the smoke was just filling the building. So I had called my boss and Dr. Rickman and said, the building is on fire, I think you better get in here. So he came in, and we took all of that computer equipment and stuff out the windows that night.
It was just something you never dreamed would ever happen. And when I'm standing there looking at that, because he went on over to see what the smoke was all about, and then the boys and I followed out the back door too, and just couldn't believe what we were seeing. And the longer we were standing there watching, the worse it got. And I thought, oh my gosh, the whole thing's going to go up. But, well.
Then when the Deer Wester Theater collapsed, it was one huge flame.
When the auditorium caught fire, the central part of the building caught fire, and then that whole roof on the whole building was 2 by 10s. And of course there were 2 ceilings in the auditorium. And when that thing it was an inferno, a tremendous amount of air going into the flames. And the fireman said, Abraham Lincoln, that's still in the ad building, was standing out in front of the auditorium. And it was kind of you walked up the steps to kind of a level, and then you walked in. He was standing out in front, and this nothing but, this hellish fire behind. And he was holding it. They pictured him holding the fire back from the ad building. I remember that story. He said, we walked up steps, and, as you go up there, and there was Lincoln standing, and this fire was behind him, and it never got into the lower part of the building.
The roof collapsed on the auditorium, and a tremendous fireball of flames went up. And then we watched a variety of people do things. A number of people with ladders climbed up to the registrar's office and started taking student records out of there. And that was scary because, standing on a ladder, an aluminum ladder, and up there, and I didn't go up, no. But some did, and then on the other side of the building, John Rickman and his people were emptying the computers that were located there, and we hadn't had the computers too many years, but that was a very valuable resource, and they wanted to save that, and in fact they did.
The computing center was in the opposite end of the building that most of the fire was occurring, though it did eventually get over the west end also. But we were able to take the computer out, the disk storage, and save all the storage. Watching that theater fall in totally and become totally engulfed in flames and ruin, it wasn't obvious that we would be moving back ever into that building.
It was like these people that came, the townspeople, the alumni, it was like they were witnessing a death. It's so emotional. And I guess that was when I was convinced that the heart of the university was indeed the administration building. The next morning, about 8 o'clock, the president called the general faculty, staff, student meeting, whoever wanted to come. And the statement that he made then, this may sound silly, but we'll it'll be business as usual today. And that set a tone, and we were on our way at that point.
There was an organization at that time called the Faculty Dames,
Yeah.
and it was the women of campus, both spouses and faculty staff people. And we took it upon a project to do a fundraiser to try to help the state replace the building, the part of the building that was lost. And I remember so vividly those women out there picking up bricks and chipping off concrete and working very hard, cleaning up the home ec department, which was very badly smoke damaged. And it was just, everybody wanted to help. They had a feeling they had to help. It was a little bit like 9/11. You had to do something.
Yeah.
And that was a very, very moving part of that whole era of the ad building.
It was that kind of a rebirth of things that were taking place there, and it was, and we knew it was going to work. That night there was a lot of fear, a lot of tears, but the next morning it was a bright day, kind of like today, and everybody was upbeat, and they were rolling students out on the sidewalk in front of the building, and it was amazing. Within 2 weeks, all the administrative offices, how many faculty offices were moved out of that building to a new location. And school started. And the students, other than seeing the damaged building, said, we couldn't believe all this has happened in 2 weeks. But the dedication of faculty, staff, students, community was just unreal what took place there.
People really rallied. It was amazing, the people who just came to grips with this disaster and said, we're not going to let this, put us down. And we had to move everything out of the water, because the water had come down through the building and was practically running everything. But we were salvaging stuff, and people. We had to order people after, I think, about 48 hours after the fire. People were still working at that, and I had to order people to quit and to leave the building again and go home and get rest, because they were just too far into it. But
It's Northwest. There's no other way to put it. Without the administration building, I guess I'd have to focus on something else. But when I think of the university, I think of the administration building. But that was my home for 27 years, and it's still very special to me.
The vitality of the university. I think it's the symbol of the vitality. The we can do anything we set our minds to do attitude would be, I think, what I think of when I think of the ad building.
And also, I would agree with that 100%, but it also represents the spirit of what this university is all about. That continues to this day, and you feel it.
Well, to me, after that many years, it's almost home. So, I would have really hated to lose it. And I know at the time, some people were saying, it's such a loss, we might as well just demolish it and start over. And that would have been such a loss, because it is the focal point of, of the campus. It would have been a shame to have lost it. But to me, so many years, sometimes when I come to town on Saturday, I think my car almost wants to come this way instead of go on uptown, because it comes up every morning. But it's kind of like a second home.
I think it stands as a symbol. I'm sure other people feel this way also, to the tenacity of the institution, to the commitment that we have to this region of the state, to our focus, our mission of educating students, and the fact that I recall back, as everybody always talks about, B.D. Owens' line the following day, we will go on, business as usual was the way he said it. We used our catchphrase, the show must go on. Couldn't miss up that opportunity. So we did, and I think that is something that is indicatory of this institution and the people that we have here.
When I think of the campus, that building always comes to mind first. That and the beauty of the actual campus with so many beautiful trees and the layout of the campus and all. But the building, to me, is number one.
Yeah, that's the symbol. That's the real key symbol of this institution and what it's about, really.